Welcome to another episode of Comedy Wham Presents with me, your host Valerie, coming to you from the 2022 Just for Laughs Moontower Comedy Festival. My sometime co-host, Miss Purrington, is resting at home. ComedyWham.com is your place to go for features about all Austin comedy. You can keep up with us on Twitter and Instagram at Comedy Wham or on our Comedy Wham Facebook page. In addition to podcasts, Comedy Wham brings you articles, album reviews, our new column, Rochelle Takes on Comedy. Have you checked out our events page for live shows in Austin, Houston, and DFW? If you're a comic in those cities and want your show featured on the calendar, go to the events page and click Submit a Show to complete the short survey. If you like the new survey, send us a quick review and we'll share your review and promo your show on Instagram. How many times can I say review, review, review? Now let's get back to our podcast. With over 200 interviews since its launch in 2016, the podcast is your anthropology lesson in Austin comedy, bringing you funny people and their stories. As a fan, I like to delve into a comic's background and motivations, and we usually take a detour along the way. Consider the interview a way for you to get to know the folks that make the comedy world as fascinating off stage as it is on stage. Please rate and, here's that word, review us. Today, we are recording live on location at the Driscoll Hotel. Originally from Puerto Rico, our guest moved to Florida and then to New York. And when we sat down with him in 2017, he'd already been on MTV's Decoded and Comedy Central's Funny 'Cause It's True, and had landed Just for Laughs Montreal. And he was also touring with Tone Bell. We'll revisit a few things from our first time talking 5 years ago. Since then, he has racked up appearances on Fallon Tonight, Conan, HBO's Entre Nos, and Tone Bell's special Can't Cancel This. And he is one of the nicest comics you will ever talk to. And now Comedy Wham presents our guest. Welcome back, Rojo Perez.
What is up? That is a lot of words.
I told
before.
you, long-winded intro.
I got excited. I was like, who's the guest? That sounds like a fun person.
It's you.
Thank you for having me. Apologize for my voice. It's a little shot. It's day 3 of a festival, so I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm out here knocking back OJs, or the orange juice.
2 o'clock in the afternoon, kicking those OJs.
Yeah.
It's been 5 years since you've been to Moontower.
I didn't realize. Yeah.
I know. I didn't realize it too. Everything got messed up with the pandemic, that we all lost like 2 years of timeline.
Yeah, I was supposed to come and do 2020. I was booked to do that.
Right.
They were like September something that year, and then that one got knocked out, and you were just like, all right, I guess I'll never go back. I guess that was it.
Well, that's good that you stayed on the JFL and Moontower radar to come back.
I love it. It's such a fun festival. Shows are great. I was trying to describe it to someone yesterday. It's not stuffy business, but it's not amateur everybody getting fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, it's somewhere in between. The festival's like, no, we're having fun, but everybody's here as a professional at what they do. And it's a much more workers' festival of just like, you do the sets and you see everyone and you have a couple cocktails and then everybody go home. So it's been fun. Yeah, it's been nice to see people.
And since you have been involved with the JFL Montreal, how would you compare it? Especially this year, the JFL is involved for the first time.
Yeah, I think JFL brings a different sort of pressure. Montreal kind of gives you, that's what I mean. And that one's, when I say stuffy, I don't mean bougie. I mean there's a lot of industry, and there's kind of how you move around and navigate through the festival, and you're like, who's this? And we'll talk this hasn't become that, so it doesn't have you want to do well, but it's because you want to do well because all the peers are good. So you see people who are on the lineup with you that you go, I want to make sure they see me do well. But Montreal's more of you're looking around and you're very oh, who's going to talk to me, and what are we talking about, should I know who this person is? And this sort of it feels much more work off stage in Montreal than the festival than this one does. So that's why I say this is the happy. This feels like the Lexus It ain't the fanciest thing we have in the world, but it ain't a Hyundai accent. You know what I mean? It's very good.
I want to live in a world where a Lexus is not considered fancy.
That's right. No, it's good. It's good. It's above.
Rojo, let's talk about a couple of things that I picked up when I was re-listening to our episode. There were a handful of things. One is happy almost 15-year anniversary of you doing comedy.
Oh, wow. That's a scary one.
Yeah, summer 2007. You started it all at Cocoa Nuts.
I do remember Cocoa Nuts. Still haven't had me back. I don't know how many credits I need before Cocoa Nuts invites me to do their fucking Holiday Inn room.
There's still time.
One day I'll make it. Maybe on my second HBO special, Cocoa Nuts will ask me to come through and do a Wednesday night.
One night only.
One night midweek. We got you before the juggler. Can you come?
Oh my gosh. Yes, since I help with our events page, I do now see clubs that, you know, they have their magic acts, and it's like, how do you do that? How do you balance bringing
Sunday 5 p.m. That magic show gonna be hot. There's gonna be 300 moms in that bitch, and they gonna love it. And then the 7 p.m. show starts, and there's 20, and you're like, maybe it should just be a magic club with a side of comedy. Maybe we picked the wrong entertainment.
Okay. A couple of other things are we talked about your background and how you had at the time chosen to put your Puerto Rican culture out to an audience. Like, you didn't want to do caricatures.
Yeah.
When you would talk about your mom, you were like, I'm not going to do a character because that's not how she talks. And at the same time, we were talking about George Lopez and John Leguizamo. And the reason I'm bringing this up particularly is because earlier this year, I actually, bucket list item, got to see George Lopez perform.
Oh, nice.
And hearing you talk about how he approaches bringing his culture to an audience was very fascinating to listen to, the deliberate approach you were taking then. And I'm wondering, has anything evolved for you in how you bring, because now I feel like over the past 5 years, especially with the hurricane, you're, I would say, more activism towards the people of Puerto Rico and your country and going back. Like, I feel like you wear it more on your sleeve.
Yes, I'd say I'm probably much more comfortable with who I am and where I come from and what I talk about. There's still, the core is still there of, you're not gonna hear me do accents. Mm-hmm. You're not gonna hear me do, we laugh together, we're not laughing at.
Yeah.
That to me is always a very big point of, I'll talk about Puerto Rico. I would do plenty of stuff about the hurricane. I would talk about growing up there. I'll talk about growing up in a pretty country. But it's never, look at these bumpkins. Haha, isn't that funny? It's never that to me. So I'm so down at the core, that's still present. I think I'm much more comfortable. I think I've got much more comfortable in my skin, so I know how to talk about it now. I know exactly what I'm trying to put forward. The ignorant stuff, I keep it for Puerto Rico. That I do it on the island. Like, no, we all laugh here together, quietly. We can't let them know we think this is funny.
Speaking of growing more comfortable, another thing that you mentioned was the fact that you, at the time, were still writing word for word your jokes. Have you broken?
I'll answer that in a second, but this is terrifying because it just goes, you know, some shit you said 5 years ago.
I know,
Let's see if it still holds up. Let's see
I only pick the good things that you. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I don't. I've lost that habit a bit of sitting down and writing out word for word. I tend to bullet point it out now. I'll do it once or twice, and then once I catch somewhere than I'll sit in right now off the audio. But everything's still written out, but it doesn't come first anymore necessarily. Sometimes it does, but it doesn't. Like, if it's a story, then I'll try to sit down and write it out. Mm-hmm. But if I'm just kind of talking about this topic and there's something funny here, but not sure where, I'll bullet point that out more and just kind of.
Yeah.
But I think that also just comes with trusting yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, I think I've got much more comfortable in trusting what I think is funny is funny. Mm-hmm. So there isn't that much of I need this so structured and I need this so tight because I need to make sure it's like, no, I trust we'll find something will tickle y'all in this. We'll get there.
Yeah. Does that allow you to have more fun?
No. No, I think it allows me to stay more in the moment and stay present because I have to be here for what I'm talking to you about if I don't have it written out. Yeah. If I know if I know a joke that works and I know what it is, I could be delivering it to you and my head's already thinking about the next joke or thinking about how do I tag it, because I already have that set. This is muscle memory. But if it's something I'm just still trying to play with, I have to be much more here and go bit by bit. So that's what I think it helps me with.
Yeah. I'm distracted by our musical soundtrack. I had a follow-up question for you. Oh, okay. So at the time that we talked, you hadn't been on Fallon. You hadn't been on Conan yet. I don't remember which came first.
Conan was the first one. Conan was a few years back. That's a fun. I'll tell that story real quick. So I'd been going back and forth at the time with the booker for what felt like 2 years. Mm-hmm. I get a text on on a Thursday from the booker going, "Hey man, are you in LA next week by chance?" And I was literally just going for Tone Bell's birthday. Oh. I was flying in Monday, leaving Wednesday. Like, it was just like, I'm coming just to kick it for his birthday. We're going to do like a fun thing. Yeah. And I'm in Kansas City that Thursday, and I go, actually, I'm going to be there Monday through Wednesday. You want to grab a drink? We all doing this thing. Because the booker's a great dude. Like, it was never like, oh, I need something from him. He's just a fun dude to kick it with. So we'd hang out, and he goes, can you do the set? And I'd been so long in this process, I thought he wanted to see it live again. And I go, yeah man, I guess I could run it. Is there somewhere you want me to do it, or should I find a show? And he goes, I was just thinking at Warner Brothers. And I go, oh, you mean the thing? The thing? Yeah, I could do the thing. So that is a Thursday. He goes, so
are you freaking out?
I'm in the car driving to the comedy club for the first night of shows this weekend at Kansas City Improv. And I'm in the car with the GMs in the front, and I'm just like, the GM and Tone are just bullshit and almost that. And I go, man, I think I just booked Conan, guys. And everybody, they were like, what? And I go, I think that's what this means, but I gotta wait for him to call me to confirm. I go on stage, and I'm on stage. I put my phone on airplane mode. I get off. I have a voicemail from him. Hey man, I called. Hit me back. I call. He don't pick up. So now Thursday go by. I think I got it, but I don't know. Yeah. Friday, I don't hear anything. All day, and then I'm trying to be like, because I don't know the protocol, so I'm like, I don't want to look too desperate. Yeah. So no, he better text me. I ain't gonna text him.
I'm not gonna be thirsty.
Friday or nothing. Saturday he sends me a text going, hey, how's the set going? And I go, I've been running in Kansas City. I think it's cool. And then he goes, is there anything you want to change? And I how is anything you want to move? And he calls me, and I go, hey man, I really would like to add this joke that's new, and I tell him what it is, and he just goes, huh, yeah, that's funny, okay. There wasn't like ha. He was like, huh, yep, that's funny, yep, okay, put it in, we'll take this out, great. And then all right, I'll see you at the party Monday, and then I'll see you Tuesday on set. And I was
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it was. So that's always a fun story.
It's so funny how the bookers are like complete poker faces.
They
must know what's going on the other side.
They know how fun it is. The booker for Fallon, who I've lucky enough I've known well for a couple years. He used to scout for NBC, so he'd seen me since like coming up through the Stand Up for Diversity program. He'd seen me for years, so I knew he was. I get that one actually leaving Austin last time. I was doing a weekend here at Vulcan, I think, a while back, last summer, and I get a text from the booker, and he goes, hey man, do you like Ozuna? Who's a reggaeton artist.
Oh, okay.
It was a very one. And I go, I mean, he's no Bad Bunny, but he's cool, I guess. Fucking around.
Who is? Nobody can be.
So I'm thinking he asked me because I thought he was going to offer me tickets because the date had fallen through. There was a time I was supposed to do Fallon, it didn't work out. So I thought in my head, he was like, he's doing something nice.
Yeah.
And he goes, all right, cool. So it's going to be John Hamm, Ozuna, and you this date.
John Hamm?
And that's, so John, but unfortunately the day of the taping, they're still in the COVID protocols.
Yeah.
So they didn't have anybody, they didn't want you walking around the hallway. You had to stay in your dressing room. But I kept going to the bathroom, hoping I'd run into John Hamm, just in case. I'd be like, oh man, you pee, I pee too. This is wild. We should be friends. We should probably kick it. But I never saw him. But you watch that episode and you go, oh, I see how John Hamm is a superstar. You watch it and you go, the way that man turns it on for the camera and was ready to play and ready to be charming and funny and I was like, this is all. It's pretty impressive to watch. But yeah.
I've watched him the times he's hosted SNL, and it's like, because when he first was on SNL, the only thing he'd really been known as the big time was, oh my gosh, why am I blanking?
The Mad Men?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I never watched, but I thought, oh, that's a dramatic show.
Yeah.
Now you've got this dramatic actor, but man, is he funny. So yeah, I can
he's
imagine.
Extremely funny, and he likes there's been comedy shows he'll go to and so he's a fan of comedy. I was just bummed I couldn't meet him. Man, you're so close. How the fuck can I kick it with you?
Right. Oh, how exciting! And how do you compare those? Like, do you have a favorite? It must have been weird to have done it through the COVID.
I definitely have a favorite. No need to say which one it is, but I definitely got one. The experiences for me personally were so different because the first one felt Conan's the first real stand-up credit I get. So that one felt much more thankful. Yeah. I felt like, oh my God, thank you for having me. This is such a this felt more like, yeah, I should be here. I've done the work. I've done this. This is just, it felt more like a job. Yeah. Rather than the first one was just like, I was just more big-eyed and kind of like, wow, this is cool. So I enjoyed both experiences, but for their own thing. Fallon was more like, hey man, this is what I do. I come, I do jokes, I do great, we leave. It was very and I was much looser. Jimmy comes and meets you before the show, and he did this he did the most Jimmy Fallon knock I've ever heard. Whatever you think that knocking of the door sounds like, I'll bet that's what it is. And he go, he do the fucking a wild knock on the door. So you clearly know it's him. So as he does the knock, I open the door and I go, oh my man, I'm busy. Can you give me a sec? And just leave the door. And he goes, ah. And they started laughing. I was like, all right, we off to a fun start. Like, it just felt more of a belonging sense for me. So that's, I think, the biggest thing. Because both shows were great. The staff was great. It was just that, for me, it's where I was. It was just where I was at that time to compare to where I am just growth-wise, comedically. But yeah, I thought they were great. It was very nice. Fallon couldn't have gone better. They were like, as it's happening, I don't realize it's happening. As the set's going well, you're like, I think this is going well, but this don't feel.
Well, and if it was happening during COVID and they were serious
this was the first one they brought, the full room was back.
Oh, okay.
That was the first show they had 100% capacity. So I had the real audience. Because I think a week or two before Vecchione had done it, and his was half. They were only doing half seating still. And before that, nobody had audience. They were doing some live ones for a bit, shooting them at comedy clubs because they didn't have audiences at shows. So I get the first one back 100%, and it felt like a perfect storm. It felt like everything hit exactly the way you had hoped it hit, and like it bombed the night before. So I was like, oh, I think we're gonna be okay. I needed to get this bomb out, but I knew it was coming. You're like, I'm sniffing it out. I know it's gonna bomb because I've been running it too much. I know somewhere here, and I'm like, now I'm just like nitpicking at the nuance of the breathing of where I look on this, where I sell this. Like now I'm just like so detailed that I go, somewhere's gonna bomb. It's too technical right now, and I could feel it. But I caught the bomb the night before, and then I did a regular set that it wasn't that set, just wash it off, and that went well. And I was like, I think we good. I think we gonna be fine. And the set just starts going well, and I don't realize they're starting to stand up. It doesn't even hit me. They're standing up, standing ovation, as like they're clapping, and then it's like it's good night, and I did everything, and I was like, man, you referenced what you needed to, and like hopefully they're not angry at the Puerto Rico thing, but whatever. So like I'm processing, but you're just still like smiling, being like, let's smile for the camera, and then Jimmy walks up, and he like puts his hand behind my back. He goes, man, that was one of the best sets we've had on this show. And I go, that's crazy, thank you. And he points and he goes, look, they're standing.
Wow.
And that's when it like hit me, and I go, Jimmy, I think I'm about to cry. And he started laughing, and he hugged me, and then he says good night, and then it was such a great experience, but it really didn't it was a pretty weird, surreal moment to have him be the one to go, dude, this is...
That's amazing.
Yeah, so...
Does that give you chills when you think about it?
I never really tell the story, because it feels, I don't know. I don't like talking about it. It's always like, you did it, cool, what's the next one?
Yeah.
What's the next thing but yeah, as I'm telling it now, I do feel like I felt something to me. Like, I never tell it,
Yeah. I mean, I think if anybody's listening to this, and they're, especially since we have that recording of you 5 years ago, like I wonder if 5 years ago, if you'd been taping for them, if you would have had the foresight to say, okay, I'm going to really run my set really technical, really hard the few nights before, and then just let go to just...
I didn't have it. I didn't have the... I don't think I could break down a set that way even 5 years ago. I think 5 years ago I could look at a set and go, this is why that's I get that's funny.
Yeah.
I don't think I could get to the point where I go, right here, man, they not laughing because you looking down. If you look up, the word's the same, but it'll get, like it's that little nuance of it. I don't think I had it back then. To now I can watch me or watch anybody and go, oh, this is why that didn't work. This is exactly it. Nothing's wrong here. The mic's too high and you covered your mouth. So we didn't see the selling point of the verb. Like, the yell's too loud. Bring that mic. Like, it's little stuff like that where now I can break it down as if like it were a playbook.
Yeah.
Back then I didn't think I had it. And I just didn't have that muscle yet. So no, I would have bombed 5 years ago.
You're in a very select group of people who has done the HBO Entre Nos, and that I didn't look at the timing of each of these three showpieces of your TV special-ish events. So when did Entre Nos happen?
That happens I want to say November 2019 or November 2018. One of those two. That's another one. I mean, man, I've been blessed enough that these opportunities have kind of come out of quietly nowhere, as in just like not fishing for them. You work and you work and you work, and then you get a little nugget, and somebody goes, "Hey, man, you want to come do this thing?" Like the producer hit me up on Facebook for this show. I swear to you, I have a Facebook message. I went, "Hey, man, I'm producing this thing for HBO. I've seen you. You've been wrecked by a few people. You want to come do it?"
Wow.
And I was like, can we get an email? Can we get some sort of correspondence that this ain't spam?
Troll?
Yeah. But yeah, I honestly forget when that one comes out. That was cool because of who you do it with. Mm-hmm. So for anybody who doesn't know, at the time, this is when HBO Latino was still a channel. Mm-hmm. Rather, I feel like everything's just HBO Max now. Yeah. But back when they still had HBO Latino, they started doing these stand-up sets called Entre Nos. And they'd be like compilation hours, as in there'd be 4 you to do an hour together. So everybody does about 15, and that would be the special. And that, like, ours was called Spot On. So they started giving people a chance. So that was cool because it was Eric Rivera, who I've known for years, excellent comedian. Vanessa Gonzalez, who, I mean, I know she's Austin's sweetheart, and I love her, man. She's so funny. Mm-hmm. And Christian Ramirez, who I knew, we kind of started similar time in New York. So I knew him for years. So it was a nice thing to be like, oh, everybody who's on this are homies, and there wasn't an ego sort of thing. I was just like, we all doing this thing. We all like each other, and we were all in each other's green room before the taping, like bullshit and making fun, like loose. So that was fun. The experience itself was cool. The only problem is you don't have, when it's the short sets like that, you don't have edit control. So the 15 that ended up airing I don't think it would have been the 15 I would have picked. I think I did about 22, so I think I would have picked a couple other things to put in there. But that's just X's and O's. That's small. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. You know it walking into something like that. You don't have control over it.
Sure.
But overall, I thought it was cool. I thought there was there's a couple stories in there that I'm happy are out, because I wouldn't otherwise do them anymore, and they would have never really gotten the love. Like, I think the hurricane stuff is all in there, and I had, like, that was the window to do it, because if not, I would have never gotten it out. Yeah. So that to me was like cool, good timing aspects of it. But yeah, man, I don't know. It is. They all just like, I don't know if you like this, but I'll just go. Once I've done something, you go, all right. Well, yeah, I guess it's whatever, right? Yeah. You did it. You can't be that amazing. You fucking did it. They all just.
To all your fans and the people who.
That's what I'm sure it is.
Like, oh my God, yay, Rojo.
And that's very nice. It's just they always. To me, it always. they're not it doesn't feel like a milestone. It feels like stepping stones.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, yeah, I'm using this. We keep going.
Right.
We looking up. We looking at whatever the next thing is, whatever the push is. So that's why it's like I don't want it to sound like I'm not grateful for that. I've had a lot of fun doing them. Please, HBO, give me money again, and I will come back. But yeah.
Given the casual nature in which you got each of these, do you just kind of want to wait for the casual nature of, okay, we're ready for you to tape your, half hours?
But it's just the time that was in the casual nature to me is so much time had gone into it that I didn't think it was going to happen. So you kind of, it becomes an afterthought.
Yeah.
It becomes secondary. So like right now, I'd love to do an hour. I want to do the hour. I'm sitting on the hour. I'm dying for someone to go, hey man, come do the hour. But I can't. I think I really, to put in perspective, it's not healthy for me to go through yearning for this thing and like just obsessing over when is Netflix gonna offer me an hour, when is HBO or show, whatever it is, just going, you do the work and you just keep doing the work, and as you're going through, sometimes the comedy gods throw you a little token and you go, this is the work. Sometimes the tokens are bigger than others. Sometimes it's an invite to Moontower. And you go, oh man, that's dope. The festival's amazing. I'd love to just be a part of it. And that's a little token you got dropped. Or sometimes you go, here's the hour. Or here, we can't do the hour, but here's a half hour. And we'll do this much. And you go, all right, here's a little drop into the bucket.
Yeah.
But it's the only thing I can focus on is how funny can you get? That's like, I think I was able to put that in perspective, and it's really helped me out over the past few years. And I feel healthier, like in my day-to-day, in my bitterness, in my how I even write what I'm writing about. That's kind of like we have a plan, we're working at it, but it's also, this can't define. I know I'm good at what I do.
Yeah.
When someone's willing to go, yes, we see what you see. Then we go, great, I'm gonna crush that bitch. And then when you know what yeah, of course, why wouldn't it? And then they'll go, what took so long? You go, I don't know, y'all tell me. Had nothing to do with me. I've been here the whole time. So.
As somebody who's migrated from the writing everything word for word to letting go of that, getting to watch you now for 2 nights in a row at the Surrounded show, Mike Falzone's show, where the crowd is the material.
Yeah.
Watching you do that, is that level of crowd work something that you're just recently
I hate it.
Oh, you hate it?
I mean, and I'll say this all tongue-in-cheek. I love Mike. I love the show. But I hate it. I don't... It's a very fun muscle to work out, and Mike does set such a warm environment as a host of that show, and the crowds have been great because they get what it is. But I don't know. My crowd work is always, I'm doing quote unquote crowd work to get you to say what I need you to say for me to do this joke.
Yeah.
'Cause I know how to end. I know what the exit strategy is.
Yeah.
Where there is no exit strategy, and you're just like, all right, Bob, I guess I'm done talking to you. And you just kind of like try to see what you get. Like those sets to me, I have no clue if I've done well or not on either of them, because I don't even hear. I'm not hearing the laughter if in the moment. I'm just like, I'm so processing and trying to go like, what he just say? Who's the callback? Who do I reference? What's behind me? Is the light coming? It's
fascinating to watch.
So it is. Yeah. It's been fun, and I'm happy. I'm gonna end up doing it 3 times during the festival, and that's very cool. They trust me that much to go. Hey man, I don't know if you know you don't do crowd work, but you doing it this weekend. It's been fun, but no, I'm not. It is so out of my comfort zone.
Well, you look like a pro doing it. So,
oh, thank you.
Yeah,
It's all right.
yeah.
I appreciate
all
it.
That, hard work leads you to newer skills.
Yeah. It's but no, it's been very fun. It's been fun to see everybody.
Yeah. When the world shut down, I imagine that was brutal, especially in New York, where they took closing things down.
Yeah.
Probably among the strictest in the country. Did you stay put in New York, or did you find your way out?
We shut down, I want to say late March, early April maybe was the last. I remember I was at New York Comedy Club the last night where they were like, it was like a Tuesday or something, and we're like, all right, guys, I guess I'll see you after spring break. Or like, I guess I'll see you after the break. And we were like, yeah, I'm in 2 weeks, so I'm sure we'll see everybody again. And so I stay in New York April, May. Then it kind of feels like we on hold by then. And I had to go. I ended up going to Puerto Rico to help with my grandma with some health issues. So I was able to get out. Well, I was supposed to go for like a week, and then, but it was like a week after the quarantine. So like a week of quarantine, and then I was gonna go for a week. So 2 weeks, and I get out there, and my manager at the time, we jump on the phone, and I was like, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. She's like, there's no reason for you to come back right now.
Wow.
She's like, you can audition from, if something comes up, you can audition from there, and you can do writing for writing stuff. And people are starting to, like, Zoom was already doing shows, so like, you can, like, she was like, if you don't want to, you don't really need. So I ended up staying like 3 months.
Wow.
In Puerto Rico, and looking back at it, what's unfortunate is it's unfortunate what happened, but looking back, I unknowingly needed that time. I wasn't in a good space emotionally, mentally, with stand-up, with my day-to-day. And I don't even know, I can't pinpoint when it happened, but I remember just like 2 months in of being in Puerto Rico, I woke up one day, I was just like, there was a different weight. It was just like, oh, God, can I fuck, wow, is that air? Like, you know what, like, it felt like just something just and it took me like a couple months of just kind of being out of the rat race to go, you don't know you're unhealthy because you're in it day to day. So you don't see it till there's some time taken out. And that's kind of a big moment where it's similar to what we were talking about before of what defines me or what can define me or what I allow to define me and how much pressure and it puts on myself. My hair was falling out a few years back, I had to go get like steroid injections and it was just a stress related thing, and I didn't know how not to. So looking back, I think it's a very unfortunate why it happened because of what we all went through, but I needed something of this ilk, some break like that to like really reset. And like I came out of after I came back from Puerto Rico, I started writing in Puerto Rico, and everything I was writing was friendlier. Was just an air of just like, this is just fun. This is goofy shit. And like, oh, how fun is this? Like, it wasn't just like hitting a point, trying to say something, trying to like write the next great long 5-minute chunk, or like it was just, it felt different. And it put me back in like, it put me back in like with it. In the sense of like, I always loved stand-up. Sometimes I don't like this bitch. And then you go, you put me back in like with you. I like you now. I want to kick it.
And now that things are easily getting back into that rat race universe, are you able to hang on to?
Because I'm very aware of it. Now I know what it's like. Now I know what it was. Now I know the concept of how much do I need to say yes to, and what am I saying yes to, and are you just doing it because you think you need to do it, or are you doing it are you putting work into for that thing? It's just not like, I just need to get on this show. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't know. When I see people think I'm fucking around, when I say I genuinely don't care. If you, like, people ask me, like, about certain clubs, why I don't work them, and I don't know. But also, I can't worry about a space that doesn't want me in it. I can only worry about the space I'm in and I'm invited to. The place I get to work out, that's where I will go and do my best. But I can't worry about why some other fucking four walls and a microphone don't want me.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything for me. So I'm able to stay very grounded on that level and, like, be able to check myself when I do find myself leaning and be like, hey man, refocus, understand what we're doing, keep going. So yeah, I am able to stay with it, at least for now. Hopefully it's going. I have been.
I'm so glad that it took 5 years for us to sit back down, because you have grown so much. Like, not just the
thank you.
TV stuff, but like the mental awareness and being grounded. And
yeah, it does feel much. I generally feel much more at ease and much more comfortable in who I am and what makes me funny, or why, like, that part of it.
Wow. Is there anything we haven't talked about that you want people to know about you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen to my album, Words. This bitch is streaming now. I don't even care. Hey, you at home. I'm talking right into the mic. I don't care if you listen to it. Hit play, walk out the room. I need them streams. I don't care. If it's done. Hit play, leave. Put it on your face. Let me get that Pandora money.
Wait, is it on Pandora?
It's on everywhere. Pandora, Tidal, Spotify, iTunes, Apple TV. Yeah. I think it's on one Roku. There's one Roku that has it.
Now you just need to press it on vinyl.
I got cassettes made. Y'all could get. I'll send y'all cassettes. I got cassettes with download cards. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go back into the Wayback Machine.
Okay.
One of the things that I do with this podcast is I always ask one word to describe your past and one word to describe your future. So 5 years ago, your past was normal. And 5 years ago, your future word was bright.
Okay.
Now, I don't know
That's
if
pretty
you
optimistic of myself. 5 years ago.
Anything you would change about either of those?
Yeah, because I guess, I don't think I would change the past. I don't think, my past was the future. My past now is what the future I saw then. I'd say past is hectic, is where I would go now. Future, meek. No. No. Not so bright.
No, I will not allow that.
My future is, just beginning. I think that's where I'm seeing it. Yeah. I think we're at the foot of what I hope to be a pretty cool 10 years.
Well, I hope I don't have to wait 5 years. I mean, I know you helped us with the online shows, but we didn't get to chat then.
Yeah.
So I hope it's not 5 years before we.
I hope if we do this in 5 years, it better be at a live show. This shit one of us better have fans by then.
It ain't gotta be me. It's gotta be you. The future rests on. All right. Well, that is a wrap on Comedy Man Presents Rojo Perez. Tell us where we can find you on social media. Go ahead and
Thank you.
Put another plug for that cassette.
It is at Rojo Perez with 3 Z's. And then RojoPerez.com for shows. And the album is called Words. please stream it. I'm telling you, my landlord would be real happy if you streamed this album. Thank y'all so much, as always, for having me.
Yeah.
So great seeing you. So fun.
Yeah, well, we hope you've enjoyed learning about how Rojo got to be the comedic genius, and also who's grown in the 5 years since we last talked to him that you heard today just as much as I have. This has been Comedy Wham! Presents Rojo Perez. I'm Valerie, and that's been funny. Thank you, Rojo.
Thank you.